Hello everyone, myself Rashmi K R, studying MSc Computer Science at Manasagangotri, Mysuru. My seminar topic is Difference between supervised and unsupervised learning and clustering. Let us discuss about the unsupervised learning and supervised learning in machine learning. In supervised learning model, the algorithm learns on a labeled dataset, providing an answer key that the algorithm can use to evaluate its accuracy on training data. An unsupervised model, in contrast, provides unlabeled data that the algorithm tries to make sense of by extracting features and patterns on its own. Supervised learning is also known as supervised machine learning. In supervised learning, you train the machine using data which is well labeled. It means some data already tagged with the correct answer. It can be compared to learning which takes place in the presence of a supervisor or a teacher. A supervised learning algorithm learns from label training data, helps you predict outcomes for unforeseen data. Successfully building, scaling, and deploying accurate supervised machine learning data science model takes time and technical expertise from a team of highly skilled data scientists. Moreover, data scientists must rebuild models to make sure the insights given remains true until its data changes. Unsupervised learning is a machine learning technique where you do not need to supervise the model. Instead, you need to allow the model to work on its own discover information. It mainly deals with the unlabeled data. Unsupervised learning algorithms allow you to perform more complex processing tasks compared to supervised learning, although unsupervised learning can be more unpredictable compared with other natural learning, deep learning, and reinforcement learning methods. Why supervised learning? Supervised learning allows you to collect data or produce a data output from the previous experience. Helps you to optimize performance criteria using experience. Supervised machine learning helps you to solve various types of real world computation problems. Why unsupervised learning? Here are prime reasons for using unsupervised learning. Unsupervised machine learning finds all kind of unknown patterns in data. Unsupervised method helps to find features which can be useful for categorization. It is taken place in real time, so all the input to be analyzed the label in the presence of learners. It is easier to get unlabeled data from a computer than labeled data which needs manual intervention. Learning phase. In learning phase, training data goes to features vector to algorithm to model. This is the start of your data model. It begins to impact how rain impacts the way people drive. It also starts to see that more people travel during a particular time of day. How unsupervised learning works. Let's take the case of baby and her family dog. She knows and identifies this dog. A few weeks later, a family friend brings along dog and tries to play with the baby. Baby has not seen this dog earlier, but it is recognized many features. 2 ears, eyes, walking on four legs are like her pet dog. She identifies new animal like a dog. This is unsupervised learning, where you are not taught but you learn from the data. In this case, data about a dog. Had this been supervised learning, the family friend would have to told to baby that it's a dog. Types of unsupervised machine learning techniques. Unsupervised learning problems further grouped into clustering and association problems. Clustering. Clustering is the task of dividing the population or data points into a number of groups such that data points in the same groups are more similar to the other data points in the same group and dissimilar to the data points in other groups. It is basically a collection of objects on the basis of similarity and dissimilarity between them. For example, the data points in the graph below clustered together can be classified into one single group. We can distinguish the cluster and we can identify that there are three clusters in the below picture. It is not necessary to cluster to be spherical, such as Y clustering. Clustering is very much important as it determines the intrinsic grouping among the unlabeled data present. There are no criteria for a good clustering. It depends on the user what is criteria they may use which satisfy their need. For instance, we would be interested in finding representatives for homogeneous groups, in finding natural clusters and describe their unknown properties, in finding useful and suitable grouping, on finding the unusual data objects. This algorithm must make some assumption which constitute the similarity of points, and each assumption make different equally valid cluster. Clustering methods. Density based methods. These methods consider the clusters or the dense region having some similarity and different from the lower dense region of the space. These methods have a good accuracy and ability to merge two clusters. Example DB scan. Optics. Hierarchical based methods. The cluster formed in the method forms a tree type structure based on their hierarchy. New clusters are formed using the previous formed one. It is divided into two categories: agglomerative, divisive. Examples: cure, birth. Next one, partitioning method. This method partitions the objects into k clusters and each partition from one cluster. This method used to optimize an objective criterion similarity function such as when the distance is a major parameter. Example: k means Clarence. Clarence means clustering large application based upon randomized search. The last one, grid based methods. In this method, the data space is formulated into finite number of sets that form a grid-like structure. All the clustering operation done on these grids are first and independent of the number of data object samples. Sting, statistical information grid. Wave cluster. 3Q, clustering in Quest. Clustering algorithms. K means clustering algorithm. It is the simplest unsupervised learning algorithm that solves clustering problem. K means algorithm partition and observation into clusters where each observation belongs to cluster with the nearest serve as a prototype of the cluster. K means clustering. We are given data set of items with certain features and values for these features. The task is to categorize those items into groups. To achieve this, we will use the k-means algorithm and unsupervised learning algorithm. Next, the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised versus unsupervised. In supervised learning technique, process is in supervised learning model, input and output variables will be given. In unsupervised model, only input data will be begin. Input data. Algorithms are training using labeled data. Algorithms are used against which is not labeled. Algorithm used support vector machine, neural network, linear and logistic regression, random forest and classification trees. Unsupervised algorithms can be divided into different categories like cluster algorithms, K means hierarchical clustering, etc. Computational complexity. In supervised learning, it is simpler method. In unsupervised method, computational complex. Use of data. This mod uses training data and learned link between input and output. It does not use output data. Accuracy of results. Highly accurate and truth-worthy method. Less accurate and truth-worthy method. Real-time learn. Learning method takes place offline. Learning method takes place in real time. Numbers of classes. Number of classes is known. Number of classes is not known. Main drawback in supervised learning is classifying big data can be real challenge in supervised learning. In unsupervised learning, you cannot get precious information regarding the data sorting and the output has due to used. Unsupervised learning is labeled and not known. Thank you.